Okay, so I'm going to talk about Regulation FD, what it is specifically, and the importance of that to the information flow, and also the importance of disclosures. Okay, so prior to 2000, there was a practice where a firm would meet with financial analysts, certain investors in private, and they would give them private information that's not public, but they wouldn't obviously give that to anyone else. So after a while, the SEC, investors kind of thought, this isn't fair. These special groups are getting all the information, but we don't have access to it. So in the year 2000, SEC issued Regulation FD. And, basically what that says is, all this information that was kept private, now these companies, if they disclose it to these special interest groups, like the investors and financial analysts, they have to disclose it to everyone. So after Reg FD, everyone has access to all of management's disclosures. Okay, so how does that affect the information flow? How does that affect what companies disclose? Well, first of all, it could have a negative consequence. It could limit the amount of information. For instance, companies may be afraid that they're going to violate Regulation FD. If there's a piece of information, is it okay to just tell certain people? Do I need to go ahead and report it to everyone? So, if there's a kind of a gray area, they may just decide to not tell anyone and just keep that information themselves, which could kind of decrease the information flow. Another big reason is they may think that disclosing information might give them a competitive disadvantage. Maybe the reason that they kept the information private to begin with is they thought that was valuable kind of private information. Now if there's a chance other companies can use that against them, they may limit the information flow that they give to the public. But ultimately, I think the goal of Regulation FD is to kind of even the playing field, is to make, get rid of the selective disclosure, as the book kind of states, only letting certain people have this information. So that's the main goal. And ultimately, I think the goal is that this regulation will increase the information flow. It'll basically benefit companies to disclose as much as they can. As we kind of talked about, the market kind of sorts that kind of stuff out. The signaling theory. The more you disclose, they kind of take that as a good sign, and hopefully these companies will disclose all that they have, and they'll be rewarded positively with stock price, investor confidence, that sort of thing. So that's kind of the end goal of what I think Regulation FD would be, and hopefully companies will kind of take that as a sign of ultimately the benefits are going to outweigh the cost. And lastly, how this affects disclosures. First of all, why are disclosures important? I think they're important because they give information the financial statements don't provide. So I would argue that the more disclosures you have, the more this is going to benefit the users. They can pick out the information, what's important, what's not important, and also financial statements only tell them so much. It's just a number. So I think the more these disclosures that you have, this is going to be information about the economy, about specific to the firm, specific to the industry, and ultimately this is going to help users come up with more useful decision making.